Ladies with your gentlemen, you know me, I am not a joking subject.
Arise, O God, judge the earth, for who shall inherit all nations.
Because I'm the greatest. It has a name Mayweather. When I talk about Mayweather, you wonder, who is this Mayweather?
Mushawe kangu gambire emotoka kaletwa kule sangu chiro mwana ole akajikwa tenko muri Ghana chinana ekatomera na gorora emotoka yagwa kuli baronda gara jo kujitwara mu yabu.
You are fighting politician. This guy a politician there, they don't fight. I am Golola. I don't know. There's a day I dream when Ruhanga boy. What is my point?
You said that no weapon will stand against me shall prosper.
All right, that is the official trailer of Life of a Champion, produced by Mr. Kawoya Innocent, and he's right here in studio, and the main man himself, Mr. Golola Moses. A very good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, sir.
The man himself is in studio, with his producer, my good man. So please tell me, what inspired you to do this movie?
Of course, I've been watching movies since I was still a young man. I loved so much action,
Kung Fu,
Bruce Lee, Van Damme. But what was in my mind was like really champions.
Yes.
Yeah. So to me, I prayed God and I was like, God, one day, one time, I'll be able to do a movie. But I didn't know whether I'll do it in Uganda here, either I'll be abroad. But I said, God, yes, you're the one who makes dream true. One day I'll have a movie, because I was like, I wanted to be like the Van Damme, and by that time I was doing the Van Damme things since from young childhood. I used to love kickboxing. I used to love fighting. I used to love fighting games. So when you see like Van Damme, there is a movie which called the Kickboxer 1, Kickboxer 2, where he fought with Tom Paul. You know, it was all amazing. And what was in my mind that was really Van Damme a real kickboxer, or he was just made. So when things came on changing, I realized that movie they just set them. In fact, what pained me like that this movie I just said these are not real things. Like I used to watch John Lembo when he's in Vietnam.
Yes.
Then I'm like,
a single man killing over 100.
Killing 100. You know what? So I was like, hey, these guys, they just make things.
Yeah.
But I was like, I want to do something real. And what I heard on Jack Chan, they were telling me that Jack Chan, most of his movies, he does like 70% real. If it's to jump, he jumps. In fact, they were like Jack Chan has a lot of injuries because he loved doing something real. So to me, I wanted to do something really moving to fighting. So here comes, I prayed God, and everything comes true. I got my friend, Innocent Kawoya. Of course, we worked with him for a long time. And there was a time I met him to the office. He told me, you know what? I want to. I'm trying to write something. I'm trying to write a movie. And I told him, "What movie is that?" He told me, "You just wait. I'm still writing it." I asked him, "Hey man, I hear that making a movie needs a lot of money." He told me, "Yeah, we need like 500 million." I'm like, "This guy with 500 million?" But inside me, I was like, and he told me, "But we can get this money." So that passed, and I continued. But to me, because my prayer was my climax of kickboxing, I wanted to remain to the fans. I wanted to remain as a Golola the champion. But you see,
something they could remember you by.
But you see, in fighting, it has the limit, because when you are 60, you can't fight. But in the movie, even if you are 100
wait, if you're 60 years, you cannot engage in kickboxing.
Yes,
because of the age limit.
Because of the age.
So why don't we just engage Mr. Bobby Wine and their parliamentarians, and we remove this age limit just like Museveni?
We just also want to see him getting successful in
Yes.
whatever he wished to be.
Yes.
Like me, I am successful right now, having the first movie. And when we talk about the true story, the life of Golola, you know, very many people, they know Golola Moses on the NTV like now. There's those people who are like, can Golola really whisper? There are some ladies like, that guy has love. How does he behave when he is in the dead? So this is so amazing. And the way how my people loved me, they loved that strong Golola, the incredible Golola. So this movie is full of incredible things. When it comes for fighting, it's real fighting. There is no editing. There's no what. If it was a punch, it was really a punch. And this reel has opened my heart. It has really showing me that the future is bright. I want to thank Innocent Kawoya as the producer, because he did a great job. When I told him now, I want to make a movie. And I had a story in me. He told me, okay, he looks for someone who's going to do the synopsis. Me, I didn't know how the synopsis is. He's like, in fact, he went, he searched the best synopsis, the action, he looked at the Van Dammes, looked at what, he said, okay, the way how we are going to do our synopsis is going to be like this. He made a synopsis. He told me that we are going to get someone who is going to do the real story. This person could come to me, I tell this person about my son, he writes. So Consulate also did a great job. So Innocent did a great job of looking for the partners, the people who could come and make the real movie. My sponsors, they did a great job. I did this movie in Kabale, Lake Bunyonyi. Badness, they did a great job. Rock Boom, they financed me with money. So this movie, I just want to see, because when I looked at the trailer, in fact, it is so amazing. I mean, myself, I went there when they were editing it. I was like, oh my God,
It's going to be a banger.
This is going to be a bang bang.
And indeed, it's going to be a banger, Mr. Golola Moses, and we're looking out for that November 1st right there at Century Cinemax Acacia Mall. The movie will be premiering. Only 50,000 you could get yourself a ticket, and VVIP, that is around 300,000 shillings right there, VIP right there. Now, why don't we involve the producer of this movie? You've had what Golola has to say, but then we also have the producer of this movie, Mr. Innocent Kawoya, right here. Mr. Innocent.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm here wondering, did Golola Moses approach you for this project, or did you go to him? How did the whole idea get hatched?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank God for, I know that everything that is built in this world starts with a very small story.
True.
Our story with the champion, the world kickboxing champion, starts way back. Like he mentioned, I started writing a movie sometime back that we actually didn't finish.
With him?
Yeah, I started it. So he phoned me writing one time in office. I had a plan to do a movie because I knew that we had one very amazing champion around this continent, and that is Golola Moses. And I always tell him, I relate with so many celebrities around the continent, the biggest names around music, around film, or around their personal friends with me. But I've always told him, there's something unique I've seen about him. He's exclusively famous, known and loved in a very different way by everyone, no matter their age. So I may not have the right record of who said we should do it, but what I know is that God guided us to actually get into a very good understanding. I knew that I have the capacity, for example, to bring everyone together, because that has always been my job. And when we got to time to do the life of a champion, I knew that we needed the best in every kind of aspect of doing film. So I thank God for the blessing that when I spoke to everyone, when I spoke to director Nawana at Wakaliwood and Ramon Film Productions, he was like, yes, we should do something. When I went to NG Films and talked to Knowlton and George, my brothers, were like, yes. When I went to the sound guys, Adina and all the other guys, you know. And when we went to, for example, post-production of the film, it was very amazing. I remember there's a day when I called Kenneth Mugabe, and I told him, he was in the USA, and I told him, I want you to come back, and I want you to come and record our music for the film. I didn't ask him, I didn't beg him, but I told him, man, I want you to come back because I have no option. You have to do this because I'm sure you'll make a difference to this production. But amazingly, we've had a very broadcast, very huge crew. And for the first time, I'm proud that around East Africa, and Central Africa, we have a very professional film product, done with everything considered, with every understanding of what is needed to have a very good production. And our view is that it's not only us, but we're able to open up bigger gates for the film industry and get other guys to do so many things, promote our talents, like the sportsmen, like the musicians in other aspects, promote our children, and create employment for everyone, because for me that's a very important calling.
Innocent, you've been in the movie industry for a long time, and you've seen this scenario one too many times. Directors come up with these very, very amazing ideas that never make it to to the screens. And you've also mentioned that you had previous projects with Mr. Golola that never made it to the screen. What were some of those challenges that impeded that project?
Well, one of the challenges is failure to discern some issues and understand that we need to cooperate. Sometimes there are things I see and I tell my team that I wish I called this person at this time and they brought something on board and we did something and got moving then. So some of the reasons why maybe we actually didn't move sometimes was because we wanted to sit alone and do some things ourselves, and that was selfish of us. And it's a problem that happens in the film industry. And for me, I've been doing a lot of talking to the players and the stakeholders in the film industry, not only in Uganda. I have very good relationship with the Nigerian film industry, working with one of the best promoters for the last 11 years in Nigeria. And I've told them that, look, your time has come for us to collaborate. Actually, in March this year, I made sure that we host some of the biggest guys at High People Music Awards in film in Nigeria and bring them here so that they can be able to see our stars and see what they can do so we can collaborate. Why? Because the thing is that there's nothing we can never accomplish alone. I can be sick tomorrow and I need to have a movie edited. What will happen? I might not have cash tomorrow, but I don't need cash to do some kind of editing, and someone can dedicate their time and do that.
So besides collaboration, what other factors help this project flag up?
Well, of course, collaboration is very important, but of course finance was very key. Like Mr. Golola Moses mentioned, we had very good support from Harris International, from High People as a company, not myself, from Professor Maggie Chigozi, from Mr. Ignatius, from many other stakeholders, from stakeholders like LaGrand and other interested individuals. We had Bad Nest cut our costs of hospitality. We had our people sleep at Bad Nest for 90 days, free of charge, for example, and the hotel rates at about $149 every day. So imagine.
So you've gotten some kind of help in that regard to help you push the movie forward.
So that all needed finance, and by any chance we need to have money. But I'll tell you, for example, from my elder, Director Isaac Nabana, always his belief is that it's not about the money first. But of course, we've got to understand together that we should appreciate that we need the money in the game.
Indeed. Well, this next question is well suited from you, Mr. Kawoya, but I'll just push it to Mr. Golola, just for him to blow his own trumpet right there. Mr. Golola, why is it so important to tell your story right now?
Because why is it so important that people have seen Golola Moses coming up? The way you see, you have shown them the first trailer, which they so that's so amazing. People have been watching Golola from the stigma up to the anthem. They have been watching him, following him, and they would like to know what's another story about Golola. If Golola leaves the ring, what can Golola else can do? So many people could think that maybe Golola, as is a fun guy, can join comedy. Golola can do this. Everyone could have any idea. To me, I wanted to show people that everything is possible. And I wanted people to really understand that when you want something and you focus on it and you pray God for it, you can have it.
Everything is possible, just like that situation you went through in Mabera right now. Tell us about that experience.
It was so nice because monkeys could not sleep. All the time they hear me hitting the punching bag, they could not produce because the real man was in the Mabera forest.
maybe I can add to that. I always tell my brother Golola Moses that for me, like for the things we've done in art, it would be a wrong thing. It would be a crime for us to live without telling a very important story that has inspired so many people. And then it would be very wrong to have a champion, real champion, stay training people behind cameras. Yet the film industry is so virgin anywhere in the world. In Nigeria, for the last 5 years, more than $6 billion has been imported as foreign direct investment.
True.
Simply because they are doing Nigerian films. In Uganda, over the last 10 years, we've only collected $50 million.
So there's need for us to tap into that market.
Exactly.
Yes. So, Mr. Golola, how has the response been since this trailer came out?
To me, I'm like, oh my God.
You're overwhelmed by the love.
This is so wonderful. This is so wonderful. My mother looked at the trailer. She was like, oh, my son, are you the real one? I said, yeah, Mama, I told you I'm going to be a good child among all the children. It's like, yes, now I understand. I see it. But it's so great. And actually, the way how my producer told me that everyone is going to be able to watch this. After like 1 month, it's going to be on the app, whereby everyone will be in your office, you'll be laughing, you'll be enjoying watching this movie.
I mean, the trailer already is killing me. Mr. Innocent right there. How much does it cost to make a movie like this?
Well, cash and in kind, you would need to have a minimum of $70,000 US.
Wow.
And that is something that actually had to incur directly. But importantly, for us, it's not about that figure, because the Americans make movies of $1 billion and they don't care. On average, all the biggest movies that are showing on, for example, Star Times, on Apple, Netflix, and Disney that is selling out, on average, most of the movies have been done by a minimum of $50 million. So we are still working under miscellaneous budgets.
So my brother, $70,000 is quite a lot of money, and you agree with me. Could this be the reason why the movie industry in Uganda hasn't taken off? Because if we are not getting funding, and then we need this hefty sum of money to get to a good start, then it must be a very, very hard debacle for our people down here.
Yeah, well, I say one thing, that's one of the reasons. But secondly, like I mentioned, collaboration. I would still say that collaboration is not just about bringing the different players in the industry, but also doing PPP, the public-private partnerships. The government has to come into play and understand the aspects that are needed to develop the film industry. Some of the things we need is some one-time investments, maybe for 4 years, and have good equipment, and have everything that we need for film, so that they can be hired at maybe very little cost, so that the players can be able to have them at affordable kind of cost. And look, for example, if a camera that we're hiring for $100 every day, we could get it for maybe $25 every day, then we would save a lot of money. I was in Lamoji Film City some time back. It's one of the biggest film cities in Asia. Lamoji is actually almost the size of Kampala, about 10 square miles. And as a filmmaker, if you have a capacity to take your cast and take them to India, to Lamoji, all you need to do is to hire cameras at $10.
So apparently you're not getting any help from government?
Apparently no.
No.
Yeah.
Because I don't see any end in sight in that regard. The Uganda, is it the Uganda Musicians Association officers? Yesterday they were locked up because they couldn't pay their rent, their quarterly rent. The president, Sophie Gombia, was there crying. She hasn't been seen in a long time. It's not the first time it was closed. In September, early September, it was also shut down. Sophie Gombia came out and said, well, this is the last time it's going to be shut down. That was during the time they had enrolled President Museveni. By the way, President Museveni joined the Uganda Musicians Association as an artist. You remember that song? Another rap. So they thought maybe if after Museveni enrolling in this camp in this association, they would get the funding, but then they've been shut down twice. So in this regard, I think it's concerted effort on the players alone right now. We need to do it ourselves. NTV right now, what can we do to promote Golola and your work as Mr. Innocent in that regard? So I do not see a lot right there. I do think you should step up the game right there, because if we wait on government, we might wait forever. Now, Mr. Golola, as we wrap up, why should the people come to Kashimo Century Cinemax on November 1st? Give them a reason.
The reason they have to come, that I'm their champion. They have been there. They have been there. They have been part of me, and having the first movie as for Golola, because if people can come and watch Golola at Freedom City, they spend their 3 hours, 4 hours waiting. These are my people. I mean, together we can change the film industry. It's build Uganda, buy Uganda. How are we going to change our nation if we don't support each other? And secondly, this is the incredible champion, the only man. So they're like, I have to go and watch the only man. In that movie, there is a room. There is where I looked at the woman and she gets pregnant. They're going to see there.
Maybe I could also add on that and say, the champion has not told you that he's going to be serving a jars of porridge for everybody that's going to be
wait. You're going to be serving a jars of
porridge. Subject, my brother.
This is awesome. This is awesome. You know, trust Golola to never disappoint in that regard, and make yourself and mark your dates, by the way. November 1st, Acacia Mall Century Cinemax, right there. The movie Life of a Champion. You've seen the trailer. Trust me, it is a banger. So please mark your calendars in that regard. We had Moses Golola right here and the producer Innocent. Now, maybe before we go away, Mr. Innocent, any last remarks before we leave?
Well, I would first of all thank everybody that made time to be a part of the crew and the cast of Life of a Champion. I'd thank INTV for the first official interview of Life of a Champion. Thank you so much. We cannot take that for granted.
It's been a pleasure to host you.
Thank you so much, everybody that was watching. Come to Century Cinemax on 1st of November and enjoy the best production that ever happened to African movie industry.
Producer of Life of a Champion, Mr. Innocent, right there, and Moses Golola, the main man in that movie. Many thanks for having made the time to speak to us.
Bless you.
Thank you so much. Bless you.
Okay, right about now we are going to take a very short break, but Morning at NTV continues shortly.